Hello, my name is Alison Chester-Lambert and I'm here to talk about the astrology for October. So where are we? Right, well, during the whole of the month of October we have two planets sitting in Scorpio. That's the planet Jupiter and the planet Venus. So that's quite a lot of stuff going on in that part of the sky. Now the Sun is actually in Libra for the time right up to the 23rd of October. And so we've got a sky that is centered on relationship largely. Libra is an air sign, but it talks about the relationship between people, conversations, the communication, the interaction between people. It traditionally describes romantic relationships, not because Libra is a romantic sign, it's not especially, but because Libra describes partnership, where one is balanced against another, traditionally the sign of the scales. So we have a kind of a relationship emphasis going on this month. Scorpio is the sign of sex and intense, passionate, emotional exchange between two people. And so the part of the sky that's highlighted, these two zodiac signs next to each other, one is looking at the talking, balanced, harmonious, well, it's not that harmonious Libra, actually. It can be quite a fight. It can be an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But one part of the sky is talking about relating as an act of relating, where we try to balance things. And the other side, next to it in Scorpio, it's talking about that seething, intense, emotional environment that could go on, where you get jealousy, where you get deep intense passion, where you get hatred, where you get divorce, where you get lust. All of these things are coming together. The zodiac sign of Scorpio actually is where I believe masculine meets feminine. So the yin meets the yang in Scorpio, and you get this tremendous, intense, passionate, magnetic energy of great power. Okay, so what will the month be like then? So, well, first of all, let's just look at what's happening with the Sun and the Earth, another great relationship, the sky over the Earth, Gaia and Uranus, of Greek myth. So the Sun, from our perspective, it's not like this in reality, but it looks like it to us, has just moved over the equator of the Earth. So the Earth is spinning away, but the Sun's position has now moved over the equator. Actually, I should be doing this because the Sun, as far as the northern hemisphere is concerned, is now below the equator. This is the equinox, and we passed this a few days ago. What's interesting about the equinox that happens now in autumn or fall, if you're American, the opposite equinox in the spring, in March, what's interesting about those 2 points, those two equinox points, is that they happen to coincide with very much increased solar activity. So all the solar wind, these ionized particles, these energetic particles which flood out of the Sun in amounts that are far too enormous for us to even imagine, they really excite and incite the atmosphere around the Earth at these two equinoxes. So we get a lot of geomagnetic activity. So geo means Earth. Electromagnetic activity is when our atmosphere gets livened up and excited by the positive and negative stuff that's going on in the atmosphere as the Sun's solar wind pours in. And this creates different effects. It all sort of filters down to the Earth's surface. But one of the things it does is it has an effect on our bodies, eventually has an effect on our nervous systems. So we might find it difficult, I say difficult to sleep. Sleep gets interrupted. So if you're normally a heavy sleeper, you can find that you're not sleeping as well. If you normally don't sleep as well, you can find you sleep heavily. Kind of interrupts sleep. But it also charges up or moves viruses. So that this is a personal theory of mine. You won't find it's any textbook. As far as I'm concerned, bigger amounts of sun coming from the energy than usual, so increased solar wind, increased solar activity, activates viruses on Earth, and that's why we get our cold virus, flu virus. These viruses actually change the molecular, the DNA. They change our, they rewrite our genetic material when we get a virus. And I think this is how the sun passes on information to the collective, how we all get updated, if you like, invisibly and not consciously. We get updated by the sun's activity at this time as it passes on viruses which rewrite our genetic code anyway. So that's just a little aside, but that happens sort of every year at this time. I mean, it happens at other times too, when we get a big coronal mass ejection on the sun or something like that, but most particularly this time of the year. And there was us thinking, oh, it's just the change in temperature. Well, you could call it that, but it's down to solar activity too, the invisible kind. Okay, so going back to the astrology for October and what we can expect. Well, we can already see a lot of this on the newsreels in the USA, because we've got this highly tense situation with Kavanaugh and the stuff that's going on. Just have a look on CNN, and it's such a tense, and it involves sexual activity, denial, and you kind of get the message when you look at that. So that could be going on in our personal lives too. So we could get increased sexual attraction, increased desire, increased jealousy. We could get he said this and she said and I said and he said and all this sort of stuff going on. We could find, if we're single, that there is an opportunity for relating in relationship. We could find that if we're already in a relationship, that it becomes much more sexually active. We could find that if we're in a relationship and it's on the rocks and it's been a bit stale for a while, we could find that it's pushed closer to the edge of the cliff. We could find that relationship changes in some way, that whatever situation you're in, it changes to another situation. There is activity in that area. So if you're single and you're looking for someone, this is a good month to get online and do just that. And if you're looking to get rid of somebody, this is a blooming good month to do that too. All the time we might be aware of these sexual tensions and issues, and people get caught out in things that they didn't want to get caught out in, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean. Okay, so we're looking for the new moon. So the new moon in Libra is on, well, the 8th or the 9th of October, depending if you're in the States or the UK or around Europe. So it will happen on the 9th in the UK, as it happens on the 8th in the USA. And that's, well, an intense time of Libra, an intense time of relating again. So maybe new stirrings, new beginnings in relationship. Could be. On the 23rd of October, the sun moves into Scorpio and joins the other two planets. So we get really broody, really intense, and really kind of subterranean. So think Phantom of the Opera and what goes on under the theatre, that kind of stuff. Whether things will actually come out then, more things, more revelations, yeah, that's possible. The sun is a great light that shines down into the dark and reveals things. So yeah, things could get pretty interesting at that time, I should say. Anyway, so I think that's about all from me. The weather is lovely here. At least we have calmed down from all those storms and stuff that we had. So I hope that you're enjoying the calmer weather, and I hope that you have a really great October. Just enjoy what you can. It could be interesting. Who knows, you know. Have a good time, and I'll speak to you very soon. And don't forget me where I am, Alison Chester-Lambert. My website, AlisonChesterLambert.com. Take a peek. I'd love to see you. Okay, see you soon. Thanks. Bye.